Welcome to Dragon's Tome, episode 139, talking about Dragon Magazine, episode 130, or in issue 139. We're talking about every Dragon Magazine chronologically from 1 to 1000. I don't think it goes that long. And this one is in, what year is it? November 88, but it doesn't say November 88 anywhere in the book. So, well, I think it does on pages, but not in. I look in the masthead, I looked on the cover, I was like, what year are we? Where are we? The cover
doesn't say the master, really?
No. Usually it says, I think they usually are like right at the top where it's under the dragon. It usually says right there. And there's a big empty spot, which I think they forgot to write in where it was. This one, the cover is by Carol Hayer, and it's called Frog Prince. And it's a wizard on a giant frog.
Yeah.
And Pat, what do you have something to say about this guy's wand? I'm psychically reading something.
Yeah. If we go back to 3 weeks ago, I thought it was very great that this wand was smoking like some kind of murder weapon.
Yes, it's implied that he turned somebody into this giant frog with that wet wand, so it's kind of weird that he's riding him now.
It's also very presumptuous to ride him after you turn him into a frog.
Yeah, that's pretty rude.
Well, I will also hasten to say that if you got yourself turned to a frog and are that big and you don't eat him, then whatever happens is your own fault.
Yeah, that's true. Jack, as a resident frog expert, how do you feel about this frog?
The leopard frog was a good choice, but I think the rainforest frog, the various frogs of the rainforest, would have been a more colorful choice. So, I beg to differ whether this was the right choice for a dynamic frog.
I do like how the frog's skin looks wet. I like that effect he got.
Oh, he's moist. He's moist.
He is
I like that.
Like a brand new cupcake, moist.
I also like the wizard's shoes. They got a little curly Q at the end with a little star hanging down. I think that's cute. A nice choice. His hair is a little suspect.
It's so crazy. It's like he got zapped with some electricity.
Yeah, maybe
his ears are wild. His ears are quite wild.
Quite wide, yes. And his hat's sitting weird on his head. Is it missing the front of his hat? What's happening there?
When I saw it, I thought, because he's all akimbo, like he's kind of sitting on the side. It, to me,
like it was just a big fight and it's just off his head a little bit.
I think the artist is telling the story that this was a bit of a struggle. There's he's barely finished doing what he was done. It was there was some we just missed.
It's post coitus. Is that what you're saying?
He's doing.
He did not. No.
He's doing the Indiana Jones after the fight.
Pushing his head back, yeah. Putting his hat back.
Or hat back, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the cover.
I want to make one other point though.
Yes.
Whatever world this is happening in, those star constellations are weird.
They're like a lot of clusters that are going on.
Yeah.
You would be like connecting the dots. You're like, I don't know. Is it a blob? What is it?
Yeah. What do we name that thing? That's Blob A.
Yeah.
What's your sign? Oh, I'm Clump.
I'm Clump. Yeah. Oh, I'm
Blob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's start with Patrick. What's your first article?
All right. Let's go to page 24.
24?
24.
Okay.
Rob took a while to get that.
I thought you were going to say English eventually.
So, where wizards
Vente,
meet...
isn't that... I don't think that was right anyways. Isn't Vente mean large?
No, Vente is 20 in Spanish.
Mm.
Vente also means 20. And the large in... This was in a movie. Large in Starbucks is 20 ounces.
That's why I call it Vente. I get it.
Oh.
Where wizards meet. Is it Grinder?
Yeah. This is a Grinder article, surprisingly enough. It really tells you when you're on the app, what you're really looking for in a wizard. So it really helps you decide whether it's swipe right or left.
That's true.
And the other undertone of the article is that this is a basis for wizards guilds. I thought the article was put together very well and is easy adaptable for any of the campaigns should you want to make a wizards guild for yourself.
Yeah,
You
we had
just
one
change
about
the
thieves
names.
guilds not too long ago, and now this is a
Yeah,
wizards guild.
yeah. This is actually a little more helpful than because I mean, if you think about it, wizards guilds are almost in itself like universities for training wizards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very put together. He's got a nice little level of circles,
Yeah, it's a lot of levels.
and then you got the Illuminati circle. I forget what they called it. The circle of seven. Uh,
You have to be very special to get there.
yeah, I mean, it's a good. If you were looking to make your own guild, this is a good basis, a good platform, a good template, so to say. I do like the fact that they even included a Wizards Guild map tower in
Yep.
it.
Yep.
Uh,
Very useful.
yeah, it's a. I didn't even look at the title. Who wrote this?
The
Mr.
title.
John C. Bunnell.
Yep.
Did a very good job. I
Excellent.
enjoyed. Yes, very good information.
Coolio. It is yeah, useful if you're into wizards and you need a tower. Here it
Yeah.
is.
With two the character class that two of the three people hate in this podcast.
2 or 3?
2 out of 3.
Which one of us likes it?
I like wizards.
Oh, come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on.
I would prefer to play a wizard over a cleric.
Well, that's not saying much.
Honestly.
Clerics suck too. Jack, what is your first article?
They die when they get struck by lightning in the middle of the hall.
Well, that's...
Yeah, begging everyone just to stop for a second so we can heal. Just stop. Everyone just stop. Anyways,
I survived. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
Let's go to page 32, please.
Oh, I knew this was coming up.
Bizarre. How bizarre. How bizarre.
How bizarre. How bizarre. From the pages of Archmages,
We got
nice.
more grimoires. We had some before, and this is more of them.
We have Dos Grimoires. This is starts with the history and description of the book. Then it has some in-game information about the book, and then it has, for both of these, a couple of new spells.
Yep.
And I like that rather than have like 100 different things and like a little bit about they went full on.
This is because I yelled at you before. It's Scott Waterhouse this time, Jack. It's all right.
Scott Waterhouse. That guy. Big fan of Russ Meyer's films, as far as I know. He goes on to write these. It's only a couple of the spells that are in the books, and all of them are kind of interesting.
Yes.
I'm gonna say there's more than just 2 books, but the ones that have the spells, and my favorite of the spells, there's graft and there's change form. One is a polymorph that slowly over time takes effect, so you can stop it. So whatever stage you're partly polymorphed into, that's where it stops.
So if you just want claws and fangs, you could stop there. But if you want a tail, you go a little farther.
Or if you've been turned into a frog, as per the cover, that's a callback. People, I'm throwing a callback. That's to anyways, then at some point when you got your webbed feet and you're a bit moist, and all of a sudden you get a wish to stop it. Well, you're still got webbed feet and you're moist.
Moist. This was also an article I read, and I would just like to say I do love when the Bizarre when they add more magical items, and as well as some of these legendary items like these spell books.
It's basically its bread and butter. It is what it does, and it does it very well. There is no work to be done if you need something to put into a hoard of treasure, a library,
or a quest for this legendary
for
book.
some wizard to quest for you.
There's nothing that a player would ask you that you can't answer by looking at the description. Where did it come from? Who did it? What's in it? Stuff that you don't even have to tell them, because some of them, there's a little
Mystery.
So yes, very good article. I would have I would have definitely used this Scott Waterhouse at some point in my DMing career if I had this particular magazine.
Excellent. My first article. Well, we'll go back to the editor. It's on page 5, I believe. Yeah, it's Real World Part 2. It's good old Roger E. Moore. It's pretty much an excuse to write a bunch of cool real stories and compare to them fantasy. So he goes through a bunch of like different because he says people are like, oh, fantasy is so much better and it can't exist in the real world. And he goes through all these different things like Man versus Beast, where some guy fights a bear, and Falling Damage, where a bunch of people fell out of airplanes and survived, and keeps going on such ways, and about courage and heroism, and how the real world also offers all these things. I don't know what the point really was, because it's like, okay.
It's more like just a rebuttal or a snarky or passive aggressive rebuttal.
Yeah, he's just like, because people are like, oh, fantasy it's not like the real world because they got magic and we got technology. So
we're definitely seeing the one side of an argument that we didn't know was happening.
Yeah, it seems like it, but anyways,
that's a good call.
It is there are some fun stories in it, at least. I like the little anecdotal stories. Some of them I'm pretty sure aren't true, but that's all right. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so that's my first article. Back to Patrick. What do you got?
Okay. Since Jack did Bazaar the Bazaar, let's go to page 44.
Oh, look, statue.
A harmless statue. This was a nice little fun article on the hide-to-hide golems. And I just put the words, it's really diabolical, because it's not even so much as an article as just a numbered point list of how to put golems in the places that you would never think about.
It's short, too. It's only one page.
Yeah, it's just funny with some of these, like...
Roan Barton. That's a great name.
Yeah, the one that goes, the golem has permanent invisibility placed on it. There's the darkness spell that's radiating around it, and then there's the golem that is back to made smooth and square, so it looks like a door.
So he turns around and all of a sudden,
when you open the door, it's the golem and he starts to attack you.
There's quite a few of them where that's not a floor, part of floor. That's a golem. Oh, that's not part of a. They're quite literally like being hidden in like structures and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, the one I particularly liked too, and I just remembered, was the one that's made up to look like a cherub dancing in the water fountain.
I like the one that's number 13. It's a wise old sage studying a book, but then his book might be a integral part of the golem's arm, and then it says dressing up flesh golems can be amusing. It's like, what? Okay, Roan, you got a weird sense here, guy.
Yeah, so I thought it was a very funny article, but also very diabolical.
Yeah, that's cool. Yep, nice, quick and short one. Roan Barton. What kind of name? That's what I'm saying. It's a great name. Jack, what do you got? You got more articles, I hope.
Yes, let's go to page 92. We're going to do...
Oh, this was one of mine, yep.
Game Wizards.
Zeb Cook. What did Zeb Cook make?
Mr. Cook.
Zeb Cook made 2nd edition AD&D.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Which is what this is all about.
Yes, what this is, they've reached the play testing stage. So this is a tongue-in-cheek, hey, I hate rules lawyers, but I have to deal with them because they're play testing my new game. So he, little banter, like he's poking fun at people who are there to.
Well, he's not really poking. He's not poking fun. He's just saying it's driving him insane because he's got thousands and thousands of index cards he has to go through. He says there's 20 to 30 playtest groups playtesting 2nd edition, and it's plus it's built on 10 years of comments and advice. And he says it might be the most playtested game from TSR and maybe ever of any game. So.
Yeah, because they had at this point they have the what's the word? They have the RPGA network available to them to playtest.
Yep. He said someone complained that the playtesters weren't being listened to, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm going to kill this person if I ever meet him."
Yeah. That's the poking fun part. There's a couple instances where he goes through and he says, "Yes, one of them said that they're not getting listened to," so he says, "I'm going to kill that person."
Yeah.
because he is sifting through all this
Yeah,
information,
like
and it must have
thousands and
been.
thousands of cards, he said.
Yeah, and then there's a couple instances like that where he says, "Oh, some of them are like, oh, the magician or the magic user could do this if this happened." He goes, "Okay, that's something we didn't see." But
Yeah.
then some of them other was like, "Don't get rid of the barbarian or the cavalier." So it's
Yeah, he
you know,
said
like,
there's some, and there's some that are like one person wants races to be capped, where the other one doesn't want races to be capped, and some people don't care, and like there's so many, he has to make a lot of decisions. But he also says someone called John Pickens is the one who's in charge of all the playtesters, is helping him. He's more of a rules lawyer, so him and they, and where Zeb Cook's more of a loose gameplay kind of guy. So anytime he wants to change something, they go back and forth and find the happy middle ground. And it sounds like it's a good system because we obviously know second edition is probably the best edition of AD&D. So
yeah. I think at the end of the day, this hard work pays off because I believe it was probably the most solid version.
yeah, and he also says that at the end.
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't argue that from my standpoint, but I'm
But
sure
he
other
will.
people. No, I'm saying other people argue that second.
Oh, I'm sure other people. A lot of people like third edition, obviously.
I was going to say the 3.5ers would
Well,
definitely argue.
and 3.75, which turns into Pathfinder, is definitely where a lot of people like. But
I mean, second
much.
edition is my favorite article,
Yeah.
so I don't disagree with anything. But
it's a little too far by Pathfinders. But
yeah.
he does say at the end he does come across a card that says "nice job" or "we like this," and that helps him get through it because otherwise he'd go insane. So. Yeah, and he said the first draft was done in early '88, so it's coming along. Maybe next year we might get second edition.
Ooh.
Spoilers. Yeah, that was Jack's article, so it was
Yes.
over to me since that was one of mine. We're gonna go to page 58.
58.
We're talking about the origins and Gen Con 88. This is all the winners, which is interesting to see.
You know, I meant to come back to read this and I forgot.
It's just interesting to see all the winners. They have the Origins Awards and the Gamers' Choice Awards, which are the two different companies doing their awards.
Oh, Best in Games won the best role-playing rules.
Yeah, there's Star Trek and or Star Wars, I should say, and Shogun seem to have really swept a lot of stuff. I guess it must be Shogun. What?
Miskatonic, you got presentation.
Yep, and best vehicular and accessory series is Star Trek Miniatures, Pat, which you've just recently found yours.
I put them back together.
Best fantasy and science fiction board game in 1987 was Arkham Horror, the first edition of Arkham Horror. Classic game.
Yeah. Shogun, I have the Shogun game. Milton Bradley.
Shogun's a classic Milton Bradley game. Hall of Fame, Greg Stafford, even back then, is the Hall of Fame. Like, he was huge. He only died a couple years ago.
Pirates by Microprose got best science or fantasy
video games.
I love Pirates.
Like, a lot of the Origins Awards seem to be more fair. Where you go to the Gamers' Choice Awards, it's a lot of you get a lot more TSR represented. But I do like a special award for outstanding achievement. It goes to Dragon Magazine. They had to win something, so Dragon won a special achievement award. So
DC Heroes won. Who watches the Watchmen?
Yeah, for best. That was in the Gamers' Choice Awards.
Oh, look at that. My favorite Forgotten Realms one.
Yeah, and Mega Traveler got some. Ars Magica. It's who's who of the games right now. So it was just interesting to see all the different, especially some of those board games where it's like, oh, this is when they came out. So it's.
I'm looking back and see how much I had. Oh, how much of these I had. I had quite a few of these things. Jesus.
Yeah. It's interesting. So I hope they do this more often, to see this every year, to see the different games that won.
We're talking about Origins. Origins comes off the rails here fairly soon.
Yeah, what Gamers' Choice Awards is from. That's from what's it called? That's from Gen Con. So the Origins Awards are from Origins. Gamers' Choice Awards are from Gen Con.
Gen Con. All right.
Yeah. So we're back to Pat. You got any more articles?
I do. I have one last one. Page 72.
72.
The Dragon's Bestiary by Dr. Greenwood, longtime listener, longtime fan of the show.
He's been busy doing all his Forgotten Realms stuff. He finally can write an article.
Yep. And his Forgotten Realms centric too. He put in this one all the rare beasts that are only in Forgotten Realms specific, which is cool. Some the Metal Master is a nice giant metal attracting slug
Yeah.
Or repelling.
or repelling, yeah. And then he's got this little cat thing, this the Serplar, and he's eating something, and I don't understand how he's eating. Is he all wrapped up like a freaking snake?
Yeah, I think that's kind of how he works. Yep.
But he's got like a pounce attack. But
Well,
you know,
the thylacine is the cat thing. This is the Slepnar is a sponge worm, pink ghost. So he's not the cat. That's the
oh, okay. So I got confused then when I was reading.
yeah. The picture goes with the next page. The thylacine is the cat.
That makes more sense to me then.
The thylacine is extinct now, but I wonder if that last one was still in the zoo when this was written.
Oh yeah. I like the art. It reminds me of the sketchy art. Reminds me of Planescape a bit.
Oh yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool. It's a different art style.
I wonder who. I can't read the guy's name.
No, I can't read they signed it, but I can't read it.
I wonder if he did.
Barrett. Yeah,
Oh.
Barrett. I think it says. Yep. Fun times. Yeah. Anything else to say about? Is that in the Dragon's Base tree? Is a giant mosquito?
No, the giant mosquito was just flying through here. I thought maybe Ed might have summoned it to kill me.
He is a wizard.
But
yeah.
yeah, no, I just love seeing the Forgotten Realms. I like all the stuff that where I start to get into is since I was not really part of this, I like seeing it for the first time in the Dragon magazines.
Mm-hmm. The Forgotten
to
Realms
the
stuff.
second edition part where I really start to roll into Forgotten Realms then because
Yeah.
we're talking 5 years
Yep.
from here. No, 4 now because we're 88 and we're almost done with 88. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting into the last couple months of 88, so
Yeah.
so I just it's it's nice to see.
It is nice to see. Jack, any more articles?
no, sir, I did my
I didn't
two.
think so. Yeah, you're that kind of guy. We're gonna go 102.
102.
Oh, it's actually sorry 104. I always do that.
Oh no.
104. It's the ring around the collar. They got things around the neck. My question is: has ring around the collar been eradicated? You never hear about it anymore. It used to be a plague in the 80s.
It was I think it was that Shout that was the commercial ring around the collar.
It just got rid of it.
Well,
I
because we
just
no
saw
one,
an article in one of those dumbass
Listicles.
listicle. Yeah, that's something. I just saw something about ring around the
Oh, yeah?
collar. Why it
It's
was
in
an
the
epidemic
zeitgeist
in-
once again. But this, I saw that and I was like, would kids nowadays even get this joke?
it was Whisk. That's what it was. It was Whisk.
Maybe it's people just don't work as hard as they used to.
Well, it's not even that. I think it's we've gone away from working in suits because all of the ring around the collar was always colored white shirts.
You're not working hard in a suit. Yeah, you're going to be wearing a t-shirt if you're working hard, I guess.
Yeah, and or if you do go to work in the suit, you're not wearing the suit. You're always changing when you get there because you're now riding a bike to work.
Well, comrades, I think this is our calling right now. The class war, I think, has begun.
Okay. That's Jack's call to arms. Is we must bring ring around the collar back.
Are you
not working?
Because I tell you what,
What are they doing?
I'm not wearing the suit when I go to work. I'm wearing essentially his pajamas when I go to work.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some other funny Dragonmers, but I was just curious. Other than that, I think that's it for my articles. Anybody else got any more articles? I got tons of ads.
I got one ad.
We'll start with Pat's ad since he only has one ad.
Oh God!
I think I know what page it's on.
Did Jack go, oh God?
Is it on page 2, Pat?
It's on page 2.
Yes, this is a classic ad.
Azor Bonds. This is like the second book of the Forgotten Realms.
And this ad is like, it's classic. It's
this is what's his face? The other guy we like.
Is it Elmore?
Not Elmore. It's the guy who has the symbol again. I always forget his name.
Easton.
Easily? It's not easily. It's not Parkinson.
It's
It's the other one. If you know who it is, comment below. We know it is.
This was a good book.
Wow.
I enjoyed it. Clyde Caldwell. I knew it.
Caldwell.
Yeah.
That's right. He's one of my favorites.
He is. And this is a beautiful, beautiful picture. Beautiful cover to a book.
Good story. But one thing I did wanted to point out is I am surprised that the Lizard Man Paladin didn't take off like the Drow Ranger did.
Because he's silly looking.
Yeah, he looks like a horse face.
You think he's silly, but when you read his character, he's actually
I
quite
know,
a badass.
but the picture is not good. Meanwhile,
His little-
Well,
tough.
are you going to tell Clyde that his Lizard Man looks like crap?
When you have a tough female warrior in the front who's super hot, who you looking at? The lizard or the girl?
Yeah,
I didn't know there was a lizard in the picture, frankly.
You perverts.
We're looking at Red Sonja in the front, and then we're looking at a T-Rex in the back. Like, look at those tiny little arms. Like, I thought he was basically a familiar type sidekick, like comedy relief.
Well,
I've never read the books.
Ironically, you say that, Jack, but because she doesn't speak his language, he doesn't speak quote unquote English. She never finds out that he's a paladin, so she thinks he's just a pet, and people think he's just a pet throughout the book until they find out that he's this ultra high level paladin because he's healing people when they're sleeping, when they're near death, and he's like a basically. So this is why I thought it was kind of surprising that everyone gravitated towards the Drow Ranger.
Wow.
Of the
Dritz
Forgotten Realms
is awesome.
books.
That's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm not going to say he's not awesome because I did like. Again, we'll reiterate that. I
Also,
like Dritz.
in the rules, you can't make a lizard man paladin, so that's another reason.
Yeah, but
of course you couldn't really make a drow. But look at the cover to the book and look at this. They're two different pictures. The lizard man's completely different on the cover. He looks cooler, and the tower's different.
I think this is because the book I have is this cover. I think this might have been a prototype painting.
There's definitely I think people said the same things Jack said about the lizard man. He looks derpy, so they changed on the cover. He changed him.
She's missing a tattoo
because
he's got. He's entirely different.
And the tower's different too.
The tower's different. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, though, if you go to Clyde Caldwell's website, this is the print he sells. Is the one.
The actual ad?
The small book, yes, the actual ad. That's the print. So this might have been an original printing and then changed to this at some point because someone said, "I don't like that lizard." Or
I don't know which one's first. Yeah, it's interesting. But I just noticed that. I was like, wait, the sword's different. Oh wait, the lizard's different. Oh wait, the girl's different. Like everything's different. It's like he did two versions of the cover.
Yeah, so. But you don't see the book cover picture anywhere on his website. You see the ad picture.
Interesting.
And the ad picture is the book cover I got.
Yeah, that's interesting. They've changed it.
Yeah, and to go with he's just an animal, not an intelligent being. They named him Dragon Bait.
Dragon Bait. That's a funny name.
But yeah, that's my bad. This is where the Forgotten Realms books start to take off and overshadow the Dragonlance books, in my opinion.
Well, the whole point of that tattoo, Jack, is that's the Azure Bond. So it's interesting that's not on the other cover. So.
Well, I say that, but it looks like it might just be
not as prominent.
As prominent.
I agree with Jack. I think it's there. It's just not as prominent.
It's not the full. Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah, you look through the Google image search, and there's not one version of this picture. The cover down the bottom there. So that's it's a lost piece of art. That's interesting. Did he paint over the that one to make this one? Who knows?
Or is just a picture that he keeps
for
himself.
My God.
Oh my God.
Hey, Clyde, if you're listening, let us know what happened to that picture.
Pat, that's rude.
Why?
Is he still with us?
Well, I mean, I know we always assume that he's dead, but I'm just gonna wait. He's not dead because he's still sending pictures.
Oh, his family might be.
Oh, you're right.
He might be alive. He might be one of the ones that is alive.
Or
he's 76 years old.
Or a little from column A and a little from column B.
Well, he's 76 years old. He might as well be dead. But
there's a Weekend at Bernie's thing where they are just moving his hand to sign the.
Could be.
I'm painting.
We're gonna go to page 94.
94.
I was gonna do this as an article because it is technically an article, but the Gamer's Guide. But look at that very first one: optical scanning. Convert your maps, drawings, and artwork, characters, specs, and histories, encounter tables and monsters, spells and descriptions, worlds and scenarios, and much more into formats usable by most of today's microcomputers. Surprisingly low prices. Pretty much it's scanning. They're teaching people how to scan.
How big do you think that scanner was?
Well, who knows? But it's just so funny that it's something that we can literally everybody has in their home. Probably doesn't even bothers to have anymore.
That you could do with your phone.
Yeah, you could do with a phone.
When I bought my first scanner, I can picture it in my mind. It was a game changer.
Yeah.
It was amazing, and it was a stand. It didn't do anything else but scan.
Me too. Yeah.
I would throw the stuff in there. It was like magic.
Jack, are you offended that the points here are not points? It's one big sentence that the points just interrupt the sentence.
The bullet points.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. In artwork, character specs, and
because it's got commas after and much more. So
and much more would be incorrect, but for the most part, I'm more offended by the Wizard oil lamp, the 7-inch Wizard oil lamp, than I was by any of the formatting with the bullet points.
The Iron Hedge Iron World is the one that bugs me because I can't read a lick of that.
Yeah, that's tight.
Tight.
Anyways, I just thought scanning funny.
Yeah.
Ad, Jack, another ad.
Another ad.
Or your first ad? Have you done an ad?
Yes. If we could go to page 42, that would be lovely.
42, the Thunderbolt miniatures, those ones.
Thunderbolt miniatures.
They're on hex spaces.
They're nice miniatures too.
They are. There's only 999, not 1,000, of each of this set cast. So you get for all of these miniatures, it's all 6 of them for $18. There's only 99 of them ever cast, and now collectors are a thing. So I can see what they're going for. 25 millimeter figures. Now it does make a bold claim. Where was it? It says special high grade 10 lead alloy.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, we don't use lead anymore, but at the time, yeah. The finest quality miniatures ever made. That's a bold statement.
They are pretty nice, though.
Over to the first 2, finest ever made.
No, the rest though look great.
Rion are dynamite. I would take number 3 as a
number 5. Number 5 is awesome.
Yes,
that would be your paladin. That would be your character all day long, all day strong. So, yes, but
I found out who Tom Meyer is. Do you want to know who Tom Meyer is? The designer of this?
Yes.
He founded Realpartha.
Oh.
So this must be him expanding outside of Realpartha. He probably left the company, sold out, and doing his own thing now. So that's why it's a famous name. Like back then, you probably would have known who. If you're into miniatures, you'd know who Tom Meyer is, I guess.
Oh, so he either left Realpartha or he was able to do something on the side.
Or he just said, listen, I'm going to make myself a, what do they call those limited edition plates?
Yeah,
there's only 1,000 made. Own your plate now.
So
what was that called? Clearinghouse? Not clearinghouse.
Oh, you mean the plates as in actual plates? Yeah. Where they call? Yeah, remember those? The Heritage
the
or whatever.
Mint
Mint,
yeah, any number of those.
The Rockwell scene plates or whatever they call it. The limited edition, only 1,000 made.
But yeah, so not for $18. Not a bad gig.
Oh, here it is. In 1988, he left Realpartha to start his own company, Thunderbolt Mountains. So this is his own company.
All right, so this is his revenue capital.
Well, he's probably made a lot from when he got bought out from Realpartha.
This is his new company startup cash that he's looking for.
Yeah.
I don't know Thunderbolt Mountains, so it might just be a small artisanal thing that never really gets worldwide prominence.
Yeah, there's not much about it after that sentence. So
yeah, I agree. I think it just kind of dies down.
But if you're already been, as long as he's got enough cash in the bank and he just wants to do a little couple side projects, that's not the worst thing in the world.
Well, I'm thinking in the back of my head back then, I didn't know any of the sculptors for any of these miniatures. I didn't care to know any of these sculptures. So I think when this ad comes out and you say, "Oh, Tom Meyer," and like Rob had to look it up, like you're like, whatever, and then it's not, and then
Probably.
and then you're seeing Thunderbolt Mountain miniatures on the shelf next to Ralpatha. You're gonna go to Ralpatha, right?
Well,
because it's the name. It's the name, right?
He definitely works with Ralph Arthur still, because after this he designs a lot of BattleTech vehicles and stuff. He also designs all the Shadowrun miniatures, and so he's definitely with Ralph Arthur still after this. But the Shadowrun miniatures, I had those, and I could see that they're really good quality. So
I have a
makes
Shadowrun
sense.
work downstairs. I wonder if
I have it
I wonder
somewhere
if his
too.
name's on it.
The best thing about those Shadowrun miniatures, the scale it's not 28
Horrible.
millimeter scale. They're teeny.
Like 15
Yeah, they're small.
or 18. There might be like
Yeah,
18.
yeah. Well, they're probably
I
true
had,
28 or 25 maybe.
Probably 7 or 8 of those that I would
Yeah.
go drive all the way to Niagara Falls and pick them up at the game store, and they were vastly superior to
Yeah.
a lot of the
now we
other
know.
miniatures I saw at the
Tom
time.
Meyer designed them, and look at you can see he started when he was 15 with Heritage models in 1975 or something like that. So
Nice.
nice. Okay. My next ad, since we did Azure Bonds, and
I think me and Jagger
no,
both out, so
you're
you
out?
just roll
Yeah,
through
it was
yours,
your turn. Yeah, it was your turn. Pat, you got any more? No.
No, I'm done.
We're gonna go to page 3 because
I'm like Jack. Jack just said.
speaking of
"You're all doing
Ralpartha,
one."
it's tons of BattleTech mechs, and I have quite a few of these.
It's a good catalog.
Yep, this is a bunch of random mechs, including some classics like the Warhammer and the Locust and the Atlas right at the top there. But I definitely have the Stalker down there with his little like disco legs. He looks like he's doing a little electric slide. The terrible looking Cyclops with a big head. Looks like R2D2. Or
I have this
C-3PO.
four-legged one on my desk.
You're
Goliath.
saying lots of names, but we don't know what any of them are.
I just making things up, Jack. Don't worry. But
okay.
it's a full color ad for some great battle mechs that I still have some. So it's fun.
They're not in scale either, because look how big this Locust is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The scale definitely was not. Until recently, the scale was never a thing in BattleTech. So, but because that Locust should be about half the height it is. My next ad is going to be on page 71. It's one of the Daily Planet gaming supplements, but this time it's the Joker. And mostly I want to talk about that Joker picture is super famous, and I had a t-shirt with that on it, and I love that picture. It's one of my favorite Joker pictures. Before the Joker was cool, I love that picture. So I guess the Joker was always cool. But it's finally an actual character I know in one of these gaming supplements from DC. Usually it's some random character you'd like, and the picture is usually horrible,
right.
and you're like, so beautiful picture. Lastly is page 11. This is some history right here. Speaking of, we talked about Sega Master System. This is the
Fantasy Star.
first role-playing game I ever played. Was right here, Phantasy Star. It was isometric, which was amazing. You'd go into it would be from above when you were in the open world, but you go into the dungeons, it would become first person, and you'd go down all the tunnels and stuff and fight monsters.
That's how Eye of the Beholder was when Eye of the Beholder came out. And
well, this is the first one I played, and it's for the Sega Master System, and it's awesome.
I will be honest with you, I don't know anyone that had this system.
You do now, because I did, man. I had Sega Master System. I loved it, and I loved it until eventually everybody had Nintendo, so I had to buy a Nintendo. And Sega Master System, my first love, I forsook her and went to the whore that is the Nintendo.
Whore.
Easy.
I was a whore.
But yeah,
The coquettish Mario
yeah,
calling you forward.
yeah. The little robot.
Come hither, look over his shoulder.
I gave up my poor light gun and the little cards because Master System had the cartridges and the little cards that went in the front. Such ahead of its time, that little system. But Phantasy Star, loved it, played the hell of it, great game. And this is first role playing game I played, because technically I never played a real role playing game yet, and this is the first video game role playing game I played. I think even before I never had a computer, so this was before Pool Radiance. So this was it. Fun times. Anybody have anything else? Any more ads? I have no more. So that's it for me.
No,
I am also done.
no, I think we thoroughly went over this.
Yep, it was not as bad as I thought. I thought this wouldn't be a quick one, but not too bad. But we're back to the wacky wizard on the cover. If you enjoyed this, please comment below and like, share, subscribe. We ask who was it that we wanted to ask if they were watching? Okay. Oh, Clyde Caldwell. If
Yes,
you're watching, tell us where the
Mr.
original
Caldwell.
cover for the.
Or what happened? What happened to it?
Yeah, we'd love to hear
you
the
don't have
story.
Tell us where it's at. I'd
Yep.
love to hear the story.
It's a bit of a mystery.
Yeah, maybe someone has solved it, but we have not. And
Because the one that I know is the one that's iconic.
yeah, everybody, the ad one is the one that's on the internet. Like the other one is not seen anywhere, so I'm curious about that now. Anything else? I don't think so. Please, like I say, share us around and comment. We love the comments. We love talking to people all over the world, and it's fun times. So until next week, I've been Rob.
And I'm Jack.
And I'm Chopper.
We'll see you there in the future.
Ooh.
In the year 2000.